Hello everyone, this is Taliesin McKnight. Thank you for joining me today. How to see spirits. This is a very simple technique for how to see spirits. And it involves the use of a magic mirror. And I will teach you how to make your own magic mirror for your own use. Now, many people in the world believe that there are spirits and that there is a spirit world. So a lot of people believe, and this is a very ancient belief, that spirits are all around us. This is believed in a number of different religions, in a lot of different cultures around the world. And throughout human history, there have evolved methods for seeing spirits and interacting with them. This method is widely used in occult circles. This is a very respected method. You will see it in ceremonial magic. You'll see it in a bunch of different systems of magic around the world. And this is the use of a mirror. And like I said, I'll teach you how to make your own mirror for your own use. At its most basic, this ritual involves having a mirror and 2 white candles. White is a symbol of purity and also for positivity. A white candle on each side, light the candles, and gaze into the mirror. And it's that simple, y'all. Now, there is the tendency in occult circles to keep these types of things hidden from the masses. There is the tendency to not teach these types of things to the novice. And there is a very clear reason for this, and that is because this can be potentially dangerous. Before you start using methods like these, you need to know how to banish and get rid of negative energy. You need to know how to cast a circle for protection, and you need to have some types of guardians or protectors. And by guides or protectors, what I mean by that is different magical traditions have different ways of looking at this. It could be patron deities or personal deities. It could be patron saints, angels, whatever tradition you follow, your ancestors, things like that. And the idea is, if the shit ever hits the fan, you've got someone to turn to. Now, the problem with this method, the problem is that this is too open. It could be too open of a door. It's just like anything can just come by. It's like, hey, anything, come and talk to me. Anything could come through on the mirror. And it's for this reason that it could be potentially dangerous. There's no way to really control, well, there are ways to control it. Well, shit. It's kind of like a Ouija board. It's funny that a lot of seasoned witches and ceremonial magicians, Wiccans, a lot of really experienced occultists will not touch a Ouija board. It's funny because they will practice evocations, they will do all kinds of stuff. But these witches and ceremonial magicians, stuff like that, a lot of them will not touch a Ouija board. And it's ironic because children play with Ouija boards, but a lot of occultists won't. And the reason that a lot of people won't mess with the Ouija board is because the door's too open, and any kind of negative thing could come through. The door's too open. And you multiply that considerably when it's a mirror and you're looking and gazing at stuff. So that could be a problem, y'all. So what you do is you have your mirror, 2 white candles. White, like I said, is a symbol of purity and positivity, a white candle on each side. Now you need to banish and you need to cast a circle. The circle helps to keep bad stuff out. Now, once you've done this, as an extra precaution, you need to try to contact one specific entity. And the reason that this is an added precaution is because if you have one entity you're calling, the chances of another entity trying to interrupt is less. Now, there are ways to contact specific spirits. The idea is, in different systems, is to try to personalize the altar, the ritual towards that specific spirit. The idea is that different spirits, deities, angels, whatever, each one has its own associated colors, symbols, smells, incenses, herbs. And so, for example, if you want to contact Aphrodite, the goddess Aphrodite, you will have her symbol. You might carve the name Aphrodite into the candles. You might have red rose petals, which are her symbols. You might do it on Friday, the day of Venus or Aphrodite. Or if you want to try to contact whatever you want to contact, try to do it with those colors, those symbols of that particular entity. And the associated symbols and correspondences act sort of like a personal telephone number. It's a way to personalize that ritual for that particular entity. If you're trying to contact a dead relative, have a picture of them, some of their belongings, cast a circle and call on that particular person. And so you will simply have 2 white candles on either side, light the candles, and gaze into the mirror, y'all. Now, there are certain methods for making the mirror more magical. For example, a lot of people, they like to paint the back of the mirror, and they like to write God names around the mirror. God names are names of the divine. And this is sort of like an added protection. For example, you could write different Hebrew names of God from the Bible. You could write names of God from the Bible, such as Adonai, which means Lord, Elohim Gibor, Shaddai El Chai. There are different names of God from the Bible you could put there. You could put the names of different angels. If you're pagan or Wiccan or something, you could use the names of different pagan deities. And so that's something that a lot of people like to do. How do you cleanse the mirror? How do you charge the mirror? For cleansing, you could take some spring water. And you could take some sea salt and add some tablespoons of sea salt to the water and dissolve it. And then you could wash your mirror with this solution. And it's widely believed in several different systems that sea salt has a cleansing ability. Then, to charge it, you could just put your hands over it and push energy into it and ask the divine to bless it. You could leave it out under a full moon to charge the mirror with the lunar rays. So there are different methods for cleansing and charging the mirror. Ways to make it more magical. Now, conventional occult wisdom says that the mirror should be painted black. Nostradamus scried into a black mirror, but I personally will disagree with this. I think that there is more power in a mirror than just staring at some black thing. So a mirror is widely believed in different cultures to be a doorway and a window to the spirit world. And so you have this mirror, and like I said, this is not something for the beginner. You need to know how to banish, you need to cast a circle, you need to use the precautions, and you need to have a little experience under your belt with magic. This is not something to play with. I could already see some kids just saying, "Oh, I want to see spirits. Hey, come on guys, let's summon some spirits. See if we see anything." No, Don't do that. For one thing, you probably won't see anything because it does take a little bit of occult development for it to work. And second of all, you're just going to conjure up some bad stuff. So don't do that. Now the mirror, you do not use this as a part of spell work. And the reason that we do not use it in spell work is because it dissipates your energies. You're dissipating your focus, so you do not use this as part of a spell. For example, if you're doing a money spell and focusing on money spell, and then you gaze into the mirror for a while, you are dissipating your energies. Spell work, you need to have one focus. That's why you don't cast 2 spells at one time. That's why you don't have a magic mirror there. This is specifically for spirit summoning. Now, some people like to use the mirror with traditional grimoires, such as the Goetia or the Lesser Key of Solomon. So you might have a circle and a triangle outside the circle and summon the demon or angel into the triangle and use the mirror as a way to see the spirit. So some people like to use that to gaze at something and to see images. It could be the future, it could be spirit contact. This is normally called scrying. So anyways, so you have the 2 candles, one on each side, and the mirror could either be flat or it could be reclined. And you could either have the mirror face the wall to where you just see the blank image, or you could gaze at your own reflection. And the idea is that your face or image will change into the image of the spirit. And again, please be careful with this. This is not a toy. Now, is this real or is this illusion? Is this just some kind of fantasy, illusion thing, or is this real? That is for you to decide. So whether it's real or not, that's up to you as an independent thinker to decide. All I'm doing is relaying the information. I talk about what other people believe. So I don't really talk about what I think or what I believe. I talk about what these people over here believe and these people over here believe. So I might talk about Judaism, Kabbalah, ceremonial magic, Islam, Christianity, Wicca. So I talk about what different people believe around the world. Although I do personally have occult tendencies, it's up for you to decide what is real or not. Now, I personally think, to sidetrack for a moment, that experience is very important in knowledge. Book smarts, reading a bunch of books on a subject will only get you so far. Experiential knowledge is actually experiencing it. For example, when I study Judaism, I actually go to synagogue. If I'm studying Islam, I go to the mosque. You have to get in there and get your hands dirty and really experience something in order to have a knowledge of it. Is reading a book on sex the same thing as actually doing it? Is reading a book on swimming the same thing as actually getting in the water? No. In the same way, reading a book on Judaism isn't the same thing as sitting in a pew and listening to them chant Hebrew and the cantor to sing from the Torah. Not the same thing, reading a book. In the Kabbalah, you have what you call dot. Now, dot is sort of a non-sephira. Dot has the power of all the sephirot in it. Dot means knowledge, and it refers to a specific type of knowledge, which is your experiential knowledge. Dot. In the Garden of Eden story, there is Etz Chaim, the tree of life, and Etz Hadat, the tree of knowledge. Etz Hadat, Tov V'Ra, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, in the Garden of Eden story, Adam and Eve partake of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, a lot of people, they leave out the good and evil and just say knowledge. Oh, knowledge is forbidden. Not the case, y'all. It's the knowledge of good and evil. And dot refers to knowledge of an object by uniting with it. And so in the Garden of Eden story, they're basically uniting with good and evil, sort of opening up the doorway for evil in the human experience. Now, dot sometimes is often linked to sexual intercourse and sex, such as the word yada, such as Adam knew his wife. And by knowing, it means that he had sex with her. Taliesin knew Susie. They knew one another. So anyways, yeah. So he knew his wife. Dot has to do with knowledge of something by uniting with it, by experiencing it. Thus, to have a knowledge of God, you need to experience God. So I will say that before coming up with judgments, you need to kind of experience something. So anyways, so yes, you have the use of a magic mirror. Mirrors are seen in several different cultures as doorways or windows to the spirit world. At its most basic, you just get a mirror, and that's it. Now, you can do more. You could wash it in sea salt water. You could charge it under a full moon. If you want to, you could paint the edges and put God names. So you can do more with it, but basically a mirror, small mirror, 2 white candles on either side. And like I said, you need to banish, you need to cast a circle for protection, and you need to call on a specific entity. And this is primarily used for spirit summoning. And real or illusion, that's up for you as an independent thinker to decide, but real or illusory, this is a real occult method that is widely used in practical occultism and magic. So this is a very respected method. So anyways, that is the use of a magic mirror in order to see spirits. Anyways, thank you for joining me. And once again, this is Taliesin McKnight. And take it easy, y'all.